how you feel about it.
It's a material how I feel about it. I think, as Guneet will shortly talk about it, is that it's important what we are doing about it. कान जाने से ही खत्म नहीं हो जाती बात. कान ने अब हमको सिलेक्ट किया, वो ठीक बात है, लेकिन कान में पूरी फिल्म से सिलेक्ट की हुई दिग्गज फिल्में आ रही हैं, 40 फिल्में सिर्फ मेन कंपटीशन में, मेन सेक्शन में, जिसमें कनु की फिल्म है. और उस भीड़ में, उस दिग्गजों की भीड़ में, जहां पे बड़ी बड़ी फिल्में, और खुद YRF की हमारे को प्रोड्यूसर की एक और फिल्म है ग्रेस ऑफ मोनाको, उस जैसी फिल्में विद इंटरनेशनल स्टार्स, विद इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर्स, वहां पे हम टिमटिमाते हुए ना दिखें, ये एक प्रोड्यूसर की सबसे बड़ी ड्यूटी बन जाती है. क्योंकि वहां पे भी मजमा है, और उस मजमे पे भी हमको अपने वजूद से खड़ा होकर लोगों को बताना कि हम हैं, हमें देखो. तो वो बहुत मेहनत का काम है. और कान सिर्फ एक फेस्टिवल ही नहीं है, कान एक मार्केट भी है. कान हम इसलिए जा रहे हैं और शौक से, क्योंकि एक तो कान में सिलेक्ट हुए हैं, लेकिन कान में तितली के लिए इंटरनेशनल ऑडियंस और मार्केट के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा दरवाजा है जो खुल जाता है. क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल प्रोड्यूसर्स और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स कान में इसीलिए आते हैं ताकि उनको कनु बेहल जैसी नई आवाजें, नए डायरेक्टर्स मिलें, जिन्हें वो इंटरनेशनल दर्शकों के सामने रख सकें. और इसके लिए हमने हाथ में लाया गुनीत से, गुनीत मोंगा, जो अनुराग कश्यप के साथ उन्होंने बहुत सारी फिल्मों को भारत से बाहर फेस्टिवल्स में, मतलब उनको जन्म दिया है, वो माँ है उन फिल्मों की. तो इसीलिए हमने गुनीत से सबसे पहले बात की और हमने कहा कि जिस तरह से आप कान में फिल्मों को प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, हम शायद उतना नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हम इंडियन प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं, हमको बाहर का एक्सपीरियंस उतना अच्छा नहीं है. कम से कम मुझे तो उतना अच्छा नहीं है. और इसलिए सिक्या एंटरटेनमेंट केम ऑन बोर्ड एज कंसल्टेंट्स फॉर द इंटरनेशनल सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग ऑफ द फिल्म. और आज इस मुकाम पे खड़े हैं कि फिल्म अभी कान में गई भी नहीं है, और इससे पहले ही गुनीत हमारे लिए इंटरनेशनल सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स उन्होंने हमारी फिल्म को दिलवा दिए हैं, जो खुद उस फिल्म की पैरवी कान में करेंगे. वो इंटरनेशनल सेल्स एजेंट्स पूरे वर्ल्ड के सबसे बड़े और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट सेल्स एजेंट्स में से हैं, जो फिल्म को वहां पे पब्लिसाइज करेंगे, फिल्म को वहां पे इंडस्ट्री स्क्रीनिंग्स में ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को दिखाएंगे, ताकि तितली वहां पे बस फेस्टिवल के 2 दिन प्ले करके वापस ना आए. तितली को इंटरनेशनल ऑडियंस के मुखातिब करने का जितना भी चांस हो, हम उस फिल्म को दे सकते हैं. आई थिंक गुनीत शुड टॉक अबाउट इट मोर देन आई शुड.
So firstly, I have to say that I'm in absolute awe of Yashraj and DPP and Dibakar who have produced this film. मैं बस एक थोड़ा सा एक चीज़ कहना चाहती हूँ जो मेरे साथ आज भी और ज़िंदगी भर रहेगी. आज से 1 साल पहले दिबाकर told me about तितली and all he said, मैं शायद ज़िंदगी में पता नहीं कितनी फिल्में बनाऊंगा, बट जो भी मैं फिल्म बनाऊंगा ना, I just want कि वो सबसे अच्छी फिल्म हो, और उसके बाद अगर मैं ना रहूं तो I will be at peace कि मैंने वो पिक्चर प्रोड्यूस की. सो उतनी शिद्दत से एंड उतनी मेहनत से when I saw Titli in October, November, and I have to say कि जो भी मेरा वजूद है और जो भी मुझे नॉलेज है, this is by far the best film that I have seen, and I am in absolute awe. So it's completely my pleasure to do this and to introduce Titli in Cannes to our partners, to people who I have met over the last 5-6 years. हम लोग वहाँ पिछले 3 साल से मैं फिल्म्स के साथ वहाँ जा रही हूँ, एंड स्लोली हमने एक मार्केट इंडियन फिल्म्स के लिए खड़ी की है, एंड वो इंडियन लैंग्वेज फिल्म्स हैं. हम पूरी दुनिया में we are all under one category, which is foreign language films. English language के बाहर हम लोग सब foreign language हैं, चाहे वो चाइनीज फिल्म है, कोरियन फिल्म है, इटालियन, ईरानियन, एनी फिल्म, सिंगापुर फिल्म, और इंडियन फिल्म, हिंदी लैंग्वेज फिल्म. सो हम लोग सब फॉरेन लैंग्वेज कैटेगरी में हैं, एंड हम लोग काफ़ी सारे हैं, एंड हम लोग बहुत एंड समवेयर इंटरनेशनली foreign film community is regarded as filmmakers who value the art of filmmaking. मतलब हम लोग कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा competition है, and for worldwide. And out of that, Titli is in the main section of Cannes. And हमारे partners हैं West End Films from UK and XYZ from US, XYZ Films. इन दोनों ने बहुत सालों से बहुत अच्छा काम किया है बाकी दुनिया में. They are representing Titli, and the way and it was actually our dream, of all our independent filmmakers' dream, to have a film represented by a big studio, a big producer in India, and go to Titli, and go to Cannes in the main section and be represented by the best in the world. अब आगे क्या होगा वो हमें 1 और 10 दिन के बाद पता चलेगा. But in terms of going there and in terms of showing the film, I think Dibakar and Yashraj have left no stone unturned, and it is phenomenal how Titli is represented there. In fact, already काफी publications में Titli is amongst the top 10 films to see in the entire Cannes, and it's a very big deal that we are there amongst the whole world. So the competition is not within India or within peers from here. It is जिन masters की फिल्में देखकर हम देख कर यहाँ तक आए हैं, उन्हीं के साथ Kanu's film is in Titli, which is what is phenomenal.
So Dibakar, first of all, heartiest congratulations that you are representing, your movie is representing Bollywood in Cannes. The way you make your movies, the contents in your movies are really very rich, and the subjects are really very strong. So this time, as you are not means directing the movie, so how much influence, influential is this Titli? How much influence is yours name on the in the movie?
First of all, I would like to sort of disabuse you of one impression that you have. I am not representing Bollywood in Cannes. Neither is Titli. In fact, it is our dream. No, I'm glad that you asked this question. It helps me to sort of clarify the position. It's been my dream, my personal dream, that Indian cinema goes out of India and is presented in the world as Indian cinema, not as Bollywood, which I consider as a subgenre. And in fact, Guneet would sort of, corroborate the fact that Bollywood is a genre that is consumed by a genre market abroad, outside of India. In fact, there is a much larger market for world cinema. And in a way, world cinema from India, which is Indian stories, Indian narratives, Indian way of telling those narratives, without the genre characteristics of Bollywood. And they need not be Hindi. They can be any other language. We have so many languages. And many of those languages have got very thriving and old film industries and traditions. So the market is wide open for any Indian film to go out and present itself to the world, as long as we say, as we can manage to tell a story that is original, that is free of stylistic, how shall I put it, stylistic makeup. That's kind of not artificial. That's kind of true to itself. So that's what Titli is. I'm sorry, I'm sort of, just because of that one line, I'm giving such a big explanation. But it's very important to us that Titli is seen as not a Bollywood film. Titli is seen as an Indian film. And more so because one of the biggest Bollywood studios and a small independent producer company have brought it together. It becomes even more of a novel item, where YRF is not really standing on its Bollywood glory to present Titli. YRF is actually presenting Titli as a small gem from India, rather than some big Bollywood extravaganza. That's the new thing about Titli. So that's one thing. My influence on the film? Not really. I think we are all influenced by life. And a small part of Kanu's life has been me, because he's worked with me. So whatever influence he has gathered from me, that you'll have to ask him. I can't really influence anyone else's film. I mean, it's not possible. It's not possible to influence someone else's film. You can coerce, you can force someone else to be, you can force your vision into someone else's film. But then the point is defeated. So, no.
Hi, Dibakar. Hello. when a film is presented by Yash Raj, it's itself special film, and this time it's Yash Raj Films plus Dibakar Banerjee. So how special Titli is? So double special.
I think Titli would have been as special if Madurai International Pictures would have produced it. I don't even know if such a production company exists. I'm just saying it as an example of a production company that sounds unlikely. Because we all know Madurai has no film industry, so I'm just saying it. Or Maldives Films International would have produced Titli, and even then, I can assure you, if this was the same film, Khan would have selected it. So, the happy chance here is the fact that both DBP and YRF could associate themselves with a film like Titli from India, where we like tagging ourselves, where YRF is tagged as the big Bollywood giant, where DBP or Dibakar is tagged as this indie guy, whereas all we are trying to do is to make a film that is suitably original and makes as much money as possible, right? That's all you want to do. And it's a compromise between the two that defines the result. So I don't think there is any specialty has been added to Titli because of YRF and DBP. Kanu would have made the same film under any circumstances. I think the fact that someone like YRF and someone like DBP, who nobody could have imagined, could have collaborated together, a bit like Imran Hashmi and Abhay Deol acting in a film, which they did. So I think that's the happy coincidence. Not a coincidence, that's a happy thing, and I'm proud of bringing that about along with YRF, because DBP probably knows a bit about making a film like Titli while preserving it. But DBP really doesn't know how to call all of you guys together under one platform and tell you about the film. DBP really does not have the wherewithal to completely lay out the whole production and the financial and the PR machinery for Titli to have a smooth run at Cannes. YRF does. When our sales reps see that this small film comes to them from a co-producer who is also the producer of the biggest film of Cannes, which is opening the film festival, then they have a little more respect for us. And this is the synergy where we win, because each one of us is taking a strength and from each other and feeding off each other, and I think that's good for Indian cinema. This is the first of its kind. Nobody expected that this would happen, but I'm hoping that this would become the norm.
Dibakar, you're co-producing this film with YRF, and YRF is known to make Bollywood extravaganzas. So is this an attempt to make offbeat cinema the mainstream in any way? Your decision to co-produce Titli with YRF, is it a decision, is it a conscious decision to make offbeat cinema the mainstream, the new mainstream?
To some extent, yes. I know that whatever film YRF produces, it stands behind it. It never lets a child sink. There are good films, there are bad films, there are average films. But a producer is always good or bad. A producer may make a good film or a bad film or an average film. But a producer's inherent quality to stand behind a film, no matter what, is very important. And that is what I respect of YRF, that it stands behind what it says. Another thing that I've noticed is that YRF loves the business of cinema. And we are probably 1/100 the size of YRF. We also love the business of making films. I may produce Titli today, I may produce Detective Byomkesh Bokshi tomorrow, and I may produce a slapstick comedy 3 years from now if it takes my fancy. But the fact is that I love the business and I love the process of making films. And same for all of us here. I think that's what brings us together.
So,